Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you've been enjoying, you never know, it could happen. Well, it has been a hot second, but this is my top shelf news for the week or two. And that's mostly where I look at science fiction, fantasy, sometimes horror, mostly as it relates to books, but also sometimes a little bit of media. And yes, it's been a bit. I will timestamp things down below. Life has just been insane, and as you know, I do this for fun. The channel had to take a big step back for life. I was set, and this was my own doing, for just about all of the cases in the world, and they all went to hearing. Sometimes some things will go, some things will get continued, and they just kept going to hearing, and that was just constantly prepping, constantly calling witnesses, constantly prepping some more, or just being in court, and the mental strain that puts on you after a while is just intense. So anyway, there was definitely no energy for filming videos. I figured I'd get something out. I'm still actually in the middle of it, so sadly don't expect a ton this next week, but well, I'm hoping to get back to it here very shortly. At least with some content to catch up. Well, I'm never going to catch up, I don't think, but we'll get up a little more videos than I've been, again, slacking on. The month is already gone, and I've literally done, I think, a couple videos for the whole month. So anyway, let's get into the news. First things first, I love sharing booktube successes. This is one of those where Talking Stories, just one of my favorite booktube channels, that they just do such a wonderful job, such a fun, dynamic father-son duo, you know, just a lot of great just work that they do, but great insights too. And guess what? J.A.J. Minton wrote his own book too, and it's called Discovery. The art is by Adam Fida, or at least the book design, so I assume it was art too. It looks like it's coming out May 2025 for pre-order in March. It's very exciting. I will definitely be pre-ordering it. Very excited to see that. Again, just love seeing people realize their dreams. I mean, it's just wonderful. So anyway, congrats and excellent work so far. I'm excited to get the book. Speaking of fellow booktubers with books coming out, we've got The Crimson Fire. I've talked about this before, from Abel Montero, our Italian booktuber. We've actually got a cover this time, and apparently it's by the author and the booktuber, Abel. So I'm just like amazed when people have so many talents, especially when they're authors and artists, which, I mean, really, it's one and the same anyway. Authors are artists, you know, in your mind, but also to be a with your hand artist. I don't know where I'm going with this. Artists that are in a different way, cover artists too. So that's just it's anyway amazing, and I love it. I think it's just well done. I was like, really? He could do that too? This is amazing. Apparently we have a lot of independent publishing book news, because that's most of my news here, and I love it. So anyway, I just saw this cover. I fell in love immediately, and of course, knowing this artist here, it's like given anyway these days. But anyway, The Depths of Vandolph. I think it's just Depths of Vandolph, actually. No, by Brady Hunsaker. The artist is Jeff Brown. Jeff Brown's been killing it lately, is participating in TBR Con, so I'll try to get a link if there is one, but at least to TBR Con. It's this great, essentially all online or on YouTube convention, bringing together panels of authors and artists, like in this one, or different just personalities across the internet, into one place to talk fantasy, science fiction, all kinds of great things. So anyway, speaking of TBRCon, another good thing to announce. But that looks like we're heading into it if it hasn't already started. Editing Bryce knows these things. I'm still catching up on a lot of news here. All right, then P.L. Stewart. Love P.L. Stewart. P.L. Stewart, author of The Last of the Atlanteans, The Drowned Kingdom saga. This is book 2, by the way. Just friend of the channel, been on a couple of different channels with P.L. Stewart, just an excellent guy. So I'm very excited that we have it looks like on YouTube, I'll link down below, Pack of Wolves. So it's book 5 in that same series. We've got a cover reveal. These covers have been really good, just I love this new age of really professional, independently published covers. I mean, independently published book covers. Like, it's just amazing. I think it's worth putting some money into some covers and do a good cover. They really do. I think you have to say don't judge a book by its cover because of the fact that everyone does. And so anyway, I think he does a great job. All right, and the last bit of, well, this is kind of tangential, I guess. The Sword of Kaigen. I love this book. It's excellent. M.L. Wong was plagiarized, and just lovely day and age we live in. Multiple people have talked about this. This was technically on my list of news before everybody else talked about it, but as I mentioned, I've been a bit busy. But anyway, it's I saw Daniel Green talking about it and Patrick Leo as well, and I appreciate all their great news. They do such a wonderful job, way better than me. But anyway, Sword of Kaigen plagiarized. Looks like it was up for a long time. You know, The Way of Kings got plagiarized. And you know they're just doing it because, oh, you like fantasy, okay, this looks popular, and someone will just buy it. Or someone might say, I want this book, and they just go Google it or Amazon it and search it on Amazon, and then they find this, and then they buy it, and it's the plagiarized version. Just great, just wonderful. Someone can make a quick buck off of someone else's hard work. You just got to love it. Man, it's so frustrating. It's just like, go make better decisions. Go make the world a better place, not a worse place. Now we got to deal with this. But anyway, it stayed up a lot longer than The Way of Kings did. That one only lasted like a day or two, I felt like. It was caught very quickly. When I was looking this up and kind of prepping my news, I looked it up again and it was still up. Luckily, it's down as far as I can tell right now. But it stayed up a long time, and I'm sure tricked some people because that's what it does. At least the reviews, good on you reviewers. Like, every review was like, it's plagiarized, it's plagiarized. So it's just maddening. I just cannot imagine why waste the world's time with just, okay, I mean, what a selfish decision, I guess. You could be making the world a better place, and you've made it worse. I have to say, give all, you know, Mr. Beast, give him all kinds of crap for whatever, but I just watched episode 2 of Beast Games, and a little bit of a spoiler if you're worried about that for Beast Games, but to watch 4 people turn down $1 million was actually like, that's kind of cool. I really kind of like that. They could have easily betrayed all their people, but they didn't. So anyway, Joe Abercrombie was getting interviewed and talking about, you know, he's got the Devils trilogy coming out here. We've already got the Devils coming out. I believe it's in May, first book. We got the trilogy he's working on, but he does talk about, okay, what's next? Because that's what authors love is, hey, what's the next thing though? We're already going to consume this latest thing in 5 seconds, and we want the next thing already. But it looks like he's hinting at more First Law. So Devils is not First Law, which I'm very actually excited for because I've been saying this for a bit now. I love the First Law. Absolutely love it. I think it's great, but I just want to see what he can do with other things now. You know, it's like we've got lots of books in the First Law, and so very excited for non-First Law. But also to have him kind of announce, yeah, I've got more First Law coming. I don't hate that. And it looks like maybe a trilogy of standalones, or at least a series of standalones, kind of like he did before with Best Served Cold, Red Country, and The Heroes. I kind of like that a lot. Standalones is just nice to have every now and then. You can kind of throw them in. And they, you know, his standalones, they reference a lot of other works, so and characters, I should say, in the other works, so you kind of have to almost read them in order anyway, or have read everything to really get everything out of it that you want to, but you don't have to, and that's the beauty of, again, a standalone. So that's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's good news. In traditional publishing news, we've got a new one and a new series, it looks like, from Kate Elliott, The Witch Roads, Book 1, and it looks like Book 2 already might be out November 2025. All right, then the thing I really wanted to comment on actually weeks ago, but again, it's just been mulling around in me, and I've been really sad about it. Mostly just for the fans, because they don't deserve this, but not for, I guess, the hopeful ramifications. I don't know, we'll see. But Neil Gaiman, you've probably seen the news. I wanted to talk about it. There's been a lot of big news coming out about him, and I just wanted to, I guess, give my 2 cents on it, I guess, as a lawyer, as what I see in my work, dealing a lot with domestic abuse, those kinds of things. I just see a lot of problems and issues. Now, and I've seen, I'm a part of some fantasy and sci-fi groups, and there's just been like blowing up, and then the moderators have to get in. Like the fantasy faction one on Facebook is like moderators are constantly having to quell arguments, and there's just, and I get that there's two sides to this, and I want to kind of acknowledge both, but provide my 2 cents on it regardless. So I think one of the things that I get from this too is that sometimes when you have a big person like this, you kind of almost have this Schadenfreude, we want to see the big fall, right? The greats fall, and just kind of almost this just prurient interest in this kind of, I don't know, the sad thing happening, this comeuppance, I guess, too. Or even just to see him fall regardless. So I just don't get that with this. I do feel like there's just, Gaiman's work has been so beloved, but if you don't know, so a number of women have come out about a number of allegations. Again, these are allegations, and this is all my opinion, just so you know. But about his sexual improprieties, his looks like sexual assaults being alleged against him. You can look in. The details are pretty bad as far as the allegations. Again, they're allegations, but I want to address both sides, I guess. First off, like I said, I don't think anyone is really excited about this. It's pretty sad news. I think we've all been rooting for Neil Gaiman, and then these things come out, and even when the first couple bits of news that I reported on months ago were coming out, I was less judgy against him, and I'm definitely more into camp anti-Gaiman at this point. It's not because I'm trying to virtue signal. I want to make sure that's clear. But here's what I see. So, and first of all, it's guilty, it's innocent until proven guilty. So I want to be clear on that. There aren't really any substantiated, allegations at this point. It is kind of he said, she said at this point, which sucks. It's frustrating that we don't have the full truth. Other than the fact that he hasn't really denied what happened, and he's mainly just denied that they weren't consensual. And that's the thing he's kind of been a stickler for. So again, that kind of gives me some concern, to say the least, because again, just not even denying and kind of going, hey, I live a different lifestyle than some people, and you might consider it weird. But again, when it's someone with this much power, this much ability to exert coercive control is a big factor in domestic abuse, domestic violence. When you're perpetrating an act against someone and you literally exert some kind of coercive control, you make threats, you financially, you're the, essentially, especially like in this case where you're the person who's housing some of these people, and they could risk losing their housing or risk losing a job or risk, I'm kind of extrapolating from there. Again, own opinion. Don't want to get into anything crazy here. You do have, that's a coercive control is a concern over domestic abuse when people are treating you like that. And people don't see these things right away. And that's the big problem with proving a case. It's hard to prove the further away from it you get. A good strategy for a defense is to let a case go on longer and longer and longer until the witnesses can't really remember as cleanly. People's memories fade, and you struggle. And so I struggle when I know there's now you're suddenly coming out with it. It doesn't feel like it's. Usually it's when something big happens in this famous person's life. He's kind of had a consistent good run of things. I guess Good Omens has been doing pretty well now, the latest for Neil Gaiman, but I just kind of keep seeing some of these things, and the biggest concern for me, of course, especially from what I do, but as a father, is some of these things were committed with the child in the room, with his own child in his room. Definitely huge red flags there. I tend to, when a person of that stature, and maybe they thought it was all consensual, and it really wasn't, because even just doing these types of things with someone who you're employing, or you're, again, in a place of, you're kind of at the top of the hierarchy, or something, again, a big famous person who people are kind of fawning over, and you take advantage of that. I tend to believe it. I tend to believe that absolute power corrupts absolutely. And it's just another, the more you read in history, the more you see how some of these great figures, they were still doing things that I just find morally reprehensible, like cheating on your wife or things like that. It's sad. It's a sad thing, and I don't like it. But I do agree that nothing's been proven. And I think people can make up their own minds about Neil Gaiman, and you can choose to continue to read his books. I think it's interesting that, some of this discussion then pops out, okay, well, at what level is it kind of morally, you're not allowed to read that book from that author? I mean, there's allegations, against, or I didn't think actually it was convictions even, potentially, I got to go look that up, but David Eddings, for instance, I think it was child abuse. Marion Zimmer Bradley, I believe. Again, people are people, and then they publish work, and can you separate the two? It's up to you, frankly. If you can, you can, and if you can't, you can't. It's allowed, And I have to say, right now, I don't want to read any Neil Gaiman. Does that mean forever? I don't know, probably not. But maybe. I don't want to give his works to my children to read, that's for sure. Again, it is what it is at this point, but it's sad news, frankly, that he would do those things if he did them. And let's hope he didn't. I just can't help but believe the people that have made these accusations. And it sounds like they did happen. It's just whether it was consensual or not, and I don't know. I don't know if it really was, or if it ever could be, frankly. That's the hard part, and that's why, it's so much better to not do these things. I don't know what to say. Anyway, those are that's my 2 cents. I just have big concerns, and I struggle not believing the people that are making the accusations, even though I will tell you, my line of work, people lie. Okay? They abuse the system all the time, right? And when, you can't honestly just believe everyone, right? You have to make things proven, right? You have to push things. So I will say people do lie. I see it all the time. You know who the worst are? Bio moms and stepmoms, or bio dads and stepdads. You talking to people that hate each other and will make up stuff. I've seen things that people will make up, and the judge just going, that's not even credible at all. And having to go to court, though, and waste everybody's time and money to go to court over false accusations. And it's hard to prove sometimes, too, though. And so that's what I will tell you from my experience. People use the system. They abuse the system any way they can, just to get at somebody. So it does happen. And I guess that's where I'll leave it on this wonderful note. All right, then let's get to just one bit of media news I saw that I was interested in to kind of round this out. The Daredevil, it looks so good. Daredevil Born Again. I love that first series, the whole thing. The Punisher, the Bullseye? Is that his name? It was so good. Kingpin is just, oh my gosh, so good. It is just, and so violent, so crazy. Just some of those scenes, and then you read about them, how they just have the stunt guys running back to fight some more. They just go on so long. It's just crazy. They really just show how brutal it is to be the Daredevil. I love it. I think, speaking of Gaiman, golly, I love Stardust, and so I've been rooting for our boy, Charlie Cox, for some time now. And it's great to see him doing well. And again, based on what Daredevil did before, let's hope it continues to be that good again. It was just the first. It's looking good. It looks like it's the same thing. There's a little glimpse in the trailer of the Punisher, so that's awesome news. I can't wait. I have to say, hopefully this kind of, I don't know, changes things up with the MCU. I just feel like it's been floundering for a little bit. There's nothing really to like tie it, and they're kind of trying to, I guess, with the Doomsday and all these, and just people aren't as excited as they were. It's almost like you have to strip it back a little bit and try again. I don't know, but Daredevil, I think, will be a winner. It just seems like it will be. So anyway, thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for listening to my rambling and my rants and all that stuff. And I remember there are Kindle ebook links that are deals down below in the description. They do help support the channel, so thank you so much in advance, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.